Hello, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited that you're here with me for a fun little Q&A. We're going to have some fun answering questions, whatever questions you might have. And today, I'm feeling very fired up. Yesterday, we did so well. We got through a ton of questions. I want to beat yesterday in terms of how many questions we can answer. There were a ton of leftover questions. I felt really bad, which is why we're doing a second Q&A. And in fact, we're doing a Q&A all week. We're actually starting at this time every day except for Wednesday because I have some meetings around this time and some coaching calls and whatnot. But other than that, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern every day this week. Kids are off from school, so I get a little bit more extra time in the morning with them, and I wanted to really sort of take advantage of that. So I appreciate you, especially if you are making changes for me and coming in here. So let's have some fun. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Monday, isn't it still some day in March? Ignore the snow on the ground, says Sarah. Yeah, I think post December 25th, you let me know if you are the same way. I just kind of forget what day it is. I thought yesterday was Monday. And anyway, it's just all crazy. But I'm really excited that you're here. Team Flynn for the win for sure. And let's answer as many questions as we can for you. Jeff the ref in the house. What's up, Jeff? Let's have some fun.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, good afternoon. We got Ryan in the house, Sarah, Jason, DP, Learn Now. Hooray for 8 a.m. Australian time. Hey, that actually works out. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you here. Grandma Goody, Tamara, Bill, Uncle Bill, that is, Makeup by Antonica. My kids and I, we're actually going to be streaming on Twitch later today. We're going to be playing some games, probably some Among Us and some Fortnite as well. Keone has a fun new pickaxe that he wants to show the viewers there. And typically we have 5 to 10 people watching at a time, and you know what? It's so much fun. But if you wanted to join us later, maybe you just want some family-friendly goodness and some fun, just times with the kiddos, you can follow us, twitch.tv/hotcoalsonly. That's not a channel I'm trying to grow huge. It's just like a place for us to enjoy each other's company and share a little bit of that with those who are interested. And it's also a great way to sort of introduce them to content creation, right? I'm setting up the whole thing, but they're live with people. They're learning how to actually communicate with viewers. And I think that's a skill that's actually going to be quite useful moving forward into the future. Don't you agree? I think as more of us go online, more of us build personal brands, more of us are showing up in different ways. I think the more comfortable that we can get and the more knowledge that we have about sort of controlling and entertaining and engaging communities live, I think the better off you'll be. And this is something that I'm grateful for this past year, is almost being forced, if you will, even though I know this was my choice, but now we're going 365 days straight. And I think, what are we at, 284, 285 right now? You kind of get okay at something after doing it for that long. So, having the kids sort of practice and get used to it, it's kind of a fun thing. It's kind of a fun thing for sure. Grandma Goody says, hey, I played virtual reality games on Oculus last night. Super fun. VR fan. We have an Oculus as well. And it's just the Oculus One, but we've played a lot of games. Super Hot is probably my all-time favorite game on VR. If you don't know what Super Hot is, check this out. You're wearing these VR goggles, right? And you're looking in this world. The graphics aren't so great, but it's not about the graphics. It's about the experience, right? And with this game, time travels. You know how I love time travel. Time travels only when you move. If you stay perfectly still, everything else is frozen and you can kind of look around. But as soon as you turn your head or start moving your arm, time starts to go forward. And if you start moving regular pace, everything moves regular pace. And there's these guys who are trying to shoot you, and you can pick up guns. And of course, as you slow down, it becomes like Matrix style. And you can like grab weapons as they're coming in the air. And it's just like you're in this movie. It's so, so cool. Anyway, enough about me. Let's go to you. What's up, Dylan Nawaz? Great to see you here. Thank you. All right, questions coming in. Make sure to type in the word question followed by your question so I can catch it as much as possible. And if I happen to miss it, I will be scrolling up and down. It's kind of random, but those who get in first, early bird gets the worm, that sort of stuff. I'll do my best. Anyway, question number 1, we're going to keep track. I'm going to try to attempt to get to at least 30 questions within this hour. So we'll see what happens. Clementina, I'm afraid that starting something in Polish, like a podcast, population over 38 million, is limiting me because English has such a broader reach. I don't want to limit potential income. or yay or nay. I think that's not the right way to approach the idea of limiting the audience. By limiting who it is that you're speaking to, you're actually maximizing the impact that you can have on them. The riches are in the niches, as I often say, right? You've heard me say that before. I know a person from Poland. His name is Michał. His last name is Safranski. And he is somebody who had followed my podcast. In fact, he had a terrible accident and had discovered me while in bed, sort of recovering. And as a result of that, just some amazing things happened. He actually started his own podcast. It became the #1 podcast in Poland. And he has this massive brand now in the personal finance space. And he means a lot to me. He's a really good friend. So there is a Polish community hungry for information and stuff like this. And I think that it would behoove you to step forward and sort of take ownership and, share something with them. Yes, America's here. There's, 300 million people who you could potentially have access to as well. But if you try to access everybody right at the start, you're going to access nobody. And of course, not only are there a lot of people here, there's also a lot of competition as well. And you can start by honing in on those who can respond to the language that you have and to the things and the culture there. And that's kind of where I would start if I were you. That's where I would start. Cooking with Kibby. What's up, Kibby? What have you heard about the terms of use changes on IG and FB? Some are concerned about privacy and access to non-app information. Yeah, this is the one thing I dislike about things like Facebook and Instagram is they can make changes at any time. And of course, we almost have these handcuffs because we've built our audiences there. This is why it's so important to have an email list and control your own brand and have your own website because, it just takes one policy change to affect everything. I haven't looked super deeply into this yet, but it definitely is something we should be paying attention to. I'm not somebody who's sort of scoping that stuff out 24/7 like some others. And there might be some people who are a little bit more proficient in the social media space, especially on those platforms, who could provide better information than I can. So all that to say, I don't have any additional information than probably what you know, Kibby, in terms of just access to stuff. And of course, privacy is very important. I'm hoping that they'll, even if they make changes, they'll still give us the options to have preferences, right? That's really important. And we've seen this before. We've seen this before, right? All right. Question from DP. What is the best way to approach a large company for a brand deal for my podcast of the same topic? I haven't started yet, but want to be prepared. So my best strategies for you, if you have a brand, this is for any of you. If you have a brand and there's this larger company who is sharing the same target audience and you know that you can help and serve them, you want to share your audience with them, that's of benefit to them, right? You have to remember what you have that they don't. You have potentially the audience. Yes, they could pay for that, but you know what else they can't get? They can't get the authority and the trust that you've earned, right? So you have to show that you've earned that authority, whether it be through numbers and download counts or whatever it is that you're looking for as far as platform, YouTube, podcast, blog. What are your numbers? They want to know the numbers. That's number one. Number two, even if the numbers are small, if they can see there's proof behind the pudding, meaning people who are in your community who are really responding to what it is that you're sharing, then that's going to be a great sign to them that, oh, okay, even though there's not necessarily a ton of people here, DP Learn Now can get people to move and they take the recommendations. If you happen to have success promoting other things, share that success as far as numbers, especially with those companies too. Probably the easiest way and the way that I've gotten to actually get approached by other companies, let alone me going out and trying to get them, it almost works like a magnet sometimes, is actually using their product. So use their product, showcase on your platform how you use that product, and potentially even become an affiliate for them first. That then enables you to reach out. They might see that you're actually making some moves for them. They see that you are talking about them in a very positive light. They see that you are this influencer in the space that you all are in. And that might enable a conversation that can then lead to some sort of bigger brand deal, if you will. Another way that I've seen people do it is they run a contest to be the excuse, essentially, not just to have a greater email list and to sort of keep people excited and whatnot. But I think that the raffle idea and then reaching out to a company to say, hey, I'd love to give you more exposure. Would you like to donate something to this raffle? Or might I be able to get something at a discount to then share with all the people who are going to be joining this raffle? Again, you want to make sure you follow the legalese when it comes to raffles and giveaways and stuff. So, make sure you're using a platform like King Sumo or Viper or there's another one I can't remember, Gleam.io. Jeff, if you're in the house, I think that's the one Ref is using, or Rev is using. I almost said Jeff the Rev for his contest. But anyway, that's kind of what I would recommend, and I hope that that helps. Because again, that can help you. That can help you start those conversations. What's up, Roddy? Roddy is an amazing musician. You should definitely check out Roddy's Instagram. Super inspirational, and just who you've been on stage with, Roddy, just blows me away. It blows me away every time I just kind of see you pop up every once in a while. And, you know, I wish I had reached out to you sooner just to check up on you and wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I appreciate you, my friend, for being here. Booj Brand, how do you best promote your business without sounding like you're begging for customers, but ensure you utilize the platform best? It always comes down to showing people how you can help them. If you're offering a service to others and you are actually showing how you can be helpful, then the sale part of it just becomes a natural conclusion to the end of that conversation. This can happen on a one-to-one level. This can happen on a one-to-many level. Let's take, for example, webinars. Webinars are often seen as disgusting, gross. People like have me sign up for stuff, and then they tell this like story, and then all of a sudden they're pitching me a $30,000 product or whatever. That's a lot of money for a product to be sold via web. Basically, if you're going to be selling a high-end product like that, you better be doing it in person or on the phone. I think doing it on a webinar is maybe not the best strategy. Anyway, the way that I approach webinars is, hey, come on here, you're going to learn this thing. No matter what happens after this webinar, you're going to learn this thing. On the webinar, in the beginning, I say, hey, I'm going to teach you this thing. Here's why this thing is important. By the way, if you want to go deeper into this, at the end of this thing, I'm going to help you learn how to do this thing even faster or more conveniently, or this other thing that happens next. So people already know when they come into my webinars that I'm going to be selling something, but it never, ever comes across as being nasty or snake oily or whatever. It's because I'm always honest and upfront and authentic, and I want to help people first. And if you blow people away with how much free information you can offer, and you have an offer on the back end, it's not going to take much. You don't need, like, I'm not a great copywriter. I don't even think I'm a great salesman, to be honest. All I know is that the more I lean into helping and serving others, the more I get back in return. We're seeing this in the Pokemon community that I'm joining already. We're seeing this in the businesses that I have. We're seeing this in other things that I'm exploring as well. Yo, great question. Sorry, I get a little passionate about serving first. Commit. Thank you for committing to being here. What have you found is the best way to go about pricing a low-ticket printable ebook for a blog? So number one, always think about the transformation that this thing that you're creating, this ebook, for example, can offer people. My first product, in fact, was an ebook that I sold on a blog, and I sold it for $19.99. 2 months later, I get an email from a customer who said, you're completely underselling yourself. This information is so valuable. Other people who are sharing the same kinds of information, but not in as great as you can, are selling their stuff for hundreds of dollars. I think you should increase the price. And me being a timid business owner, I increased the price just to test it out. I increased it from $19 to $29. And guess what? I saw more sales than I did at $19.99. So not only did I increase the price, but I made more sales. Do the math. Obviously made a lot more money. Perceived value is important. I would not ever give a book, or I would not ever sell a book for less than 20 bucks, a book that is an ebook, right? I think that it just has this perception of, oh, this is cheap. And even though it can be great information, I think that if you know this information is valuable and you know what it can do as far as a transformation to the reader, then, you know, what is that worth to a person? The more you can dig deep into that, the easier it's going to be to sell, and the more likely you are able to charge higher for that. At the same time, you also want to make sure that your free information is really good. Maybe it's a single or two chapters from that people can get access to for free that blows their mind, makes them want to go deeper, in which case they could see the ROI that might come with investing in this ebook. But of course, it depends on the niche. It depends on what else is out there. You might want to do some pricing research to determine who else is serving this audience and at what price, and what's working, what's not, and where does your thing lie? What position are you in within that space, within all the prices that are out there? Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you. Yo, how's things? I have 100 now. Can you please tell me how to start a very profitable drop shipping store in an hour with 100? You know, I think that you don't need any money to start, because at the start, what you need to do is research. I think that it's really important to understand that although drop shipping is very convenient, right? You can take a product that already exists and you can just be the person that essentially becomes the seller, and you never have to keep the product, you never have to store it. It's in a warehouse somewhere, and then you essentially just coordinate with that warehouse where the things go after you sell. But there's a million products to sell out there. We need to do research. And if it's something that you're going to be drop shipping, you might be asking, well, where might I do research? I would do research on Amazon, right? Because that's likely where you might be selling, or you might be selling on your own Shopify page or elsewhere, right? So finding a need is always where a great business starts. What products are out there that maybe aren't as great that you can check the Amazon reviews for? I would look at the 3-star Amazon reviews to go, wow, okay, people love it because of this, but people don't love it because of this. Okay, well, let me find a dropshipper who has this kind of product that actually fulfills these needs of this company or these people who have these problems and pains, needs, wants, desires. And then you'd be able to actually, have a product that actually makes sense. I think just like picking a product and trying to get in front of an audience is going to be difficult. I would also align it with something that you have some sort of interest in that you can actually use. You can use platforms like podcasting or even YouTube to show this product, to kind of put it out there and, show people what they're going to get before they get it, and use YouTube's algorithms to your advantage, and, perhaps even have some other influencers get access to it for free so that they can maybe talk about it on their channels. That can be a great marketing mechanism for you to check out as well. All right. Can you read my first comment, please? I think I did, didn't I? Or did I not? I like how you have Adam Sandler as your... Is that Billy Madison? No. Happy Gilmore, that's what it is. All right. I have a 10 by 11 studio, concrete floor, 8-foot ceiling, put up sound panels, but still get an echo. Maybe some area rugs, 100%. I actually have a video that shows how area rugs alone in a room about the same size, to be honest, like literally the same size. It was at a WeWork in San Diego, concrete floor, nothing in the room, tested it, added an area rug, tested it, and it made a significant difference. Concrete especially, it just has this way of reflecting sound back to where it came from, hence the echo. So that's 100%, that's where I would start. You're about halfway there, by the way. Because, see, halfway there. All right. Teachers on Fire. What's up, Teachers on Fire? Thank you for what you do for other teachers. And if you're a teacher yourself, I appreciate you. Wanted to start a niche site 6 years ago when I first started listening to you. Is it possible to do as well today? The internet feels so flooded. It does. And I think that the niche sites that I had created back in 2010, 2012, 2014, they just aren't going to work as well anymore. I think the food trucker niche website that I did the right approach, and that approach still works today. So if you wanted to go back in time and find some of the food trucker stuff, that's where I was building a brand, not just a resource. I was building a brand, Food Trucker, which had a podcast, it had products, it actually had great articles. I hired writers to create information that solved people's problems and answers people's questions in that space. And it actually was sold earlier this year. That was a big win that I completely forgot about because a lot of stuff happened since January, but I sold foodtrucker.com. I also sold my other site, securityguardtraininghq.com, which building that kind of website nowadays, it's going to be very difficult. You need to nail a perfect keyword that is highly underserved, and a lot of keywords are already being served, and especially when it relates to products. I shared not too long ago in a video here on the income stream an example of how I built a business called bestinearheadphones.com. Number one, did it just for the money. Number two, had no passion for it. Number three, I actually started making some money from it, and completely bombed. And it completely bombed because I lost energy for it and because Amazon started just taking over. So products can be very difficult to create niche sites for. Brands, however, if I was like an audiophile who did some really great reviews from headphones, as well as microphones, as well as speakers and other things, now it's like Pat Flynn, the audio dude, right? Smart Passive Audio. And go check out Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Audio. He has all this stuff, and he has this, brand, and you get to meet him and, his community, right? Versus just niche site. Let's hope people find it and go from there. Donawaz, I missed your question. Did I miss your question? Let me see. Luckily, you have a very yellow avatar, so I can potentially find it here. You can ask it again. If I missed it, I apologize about that. Who's that? Greg? What's up, Greg Lanston? Always good to see your face around. Beth, welcome in. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Michael Mann, welcome. All right. Question from Reef. What's up, Reef? Hey, thanks for the sticker, the unicorn sticker. Woo, dropped my pen. Reef, do you use an ATEM Mini Pro? What do you do to pre-plan every live you do with your laptop, Ecamm, Stream Deck, Rode thing? So I don't use an ATEM. I actually bought it and I tested it, and it just, number one, it was too complicated for me to figure out on my own, and it was not as easy and as intuitive as Stream Deck, Ecamm, and everything that I have here. So I actually just sold that to somebody. But as far as pre-planning, really, it's okay. I step into the arena. This is the arena, the Pat Cave. And I'm like, okay, what transformation do I want my audience to experience today? Today was all about getting your questions answered, which is why I'm going rapid fire, right? Other days, it's like a topic. And I'm like, okay, what about this topic do I want the ultimate outcome to be? I reverse engineer that. What points do I need to make? What stories do I need to tell, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to help a person get there? What steps? And that's kind of what I talk about. I do a rough outline, super rough, and I just trust myself to talk about these things. And then I have had enough practice now to go live and be able to engage and answer questions even about different topics as we go along. And that's kind of how I prepare. Sometimes when I prepare too much, I get too nervous and I have a bad show. Other times I kind of go right into it, knowing that, you know what, I'm here to serve and I'm going to do it in the best way possible. Great. Other days I go really hardcore with the planning because I do things like film during the live stream. And that video, by the way, is approaching 40,000 downloads. A video that I recorded 2 months ago that I said, this is going to be the next 100,000 view video. And it's on its way. It just picked up steam not too long ago, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Reef. All right, Christos. Thank you for being here. If you had remote podcast guests with no professional equipment, would you use any of the most advanced settings in Audacity, such as equalization, etc., or just use Alphonic or Levelator? I would just use Alphonic and just hopefully, as I'm recording, number one, have a quick little 1-minute conversation with people so that I can just kind of make sure the levels are fine. As long as they're audible, as long as your guest is audible, that's great. It's okay if their audio isn't the best. Yes, Alphonic will level it out for you so it's the right volume, but they might still sound like they're in a tin can because they might be recording in a tin can or in a car or wherever. Car is actually a great place to record podcast episodes, by the way, especially if it's sort of fabric on the seats. Anyway, it's okay that their audio is not great in terms of the sound quality. Your audio needs to be great. They're the guest. That's fine. You listen to a radio show, the guest calls in, they're always like on a cell phone and nobody questions their audio quality. So as long as they can be heard. I had a guest once pull over because they were late to get home and they were just like, hey, I'm on the side of the road. It's like storming right now. I'm under an underpass. Can I just do the interview here on the phone? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And nobody ever complained about it. Nobody ever complained about it. Poke Kanono in the house. What's up, Poke Kanono? We got to get on some of that Poke Kobe later, right? Let's see. Question. If you give away a digital product for a giveaway, can it be used as a tax deduction? I don't know. I would recommend asking a CPA, but honestly, I do not know the answer to that. All right, let's keep going. I watched the whole video, Pat, before the beard. Used pillows, definitely not practical, LOL. No, not practical, but it can work. Uncle Bill, blown away officially. Pat, you give away 98%. Love it. Thank you. I'll try to make it 99 next time. Let's see. Love the chat here. Thank you so much for coming in today. Everybody, you're amazing. All right, just reading the chat, making sure I'm not missing anything. Fantastic. Okay, another question here from Booj. Seasons and podcasts. Does it matter to segment into seasons or not? So many out there either way. Either way will work. Just pick one and go with it. Seasons are nice because you can take breaks, but during the break, you're not going to get as many listens versus staying consistent. I prefer to have just consistency because what happens is people start to have a habit of listening to you, right? And when you change that habit, it's super weird. It's like, hey, every year there's Christmas and then one year you practice Festivus. It's not going to work out. It feels weird and different to like Kramer. He had to leave, right, at the end of that episode. But if you are consistent all the time, you actually don't give people a chance to break that habit. I've seen it, and I've actually had this happen myself. I listen to and subscribe to a podcast, and then all of a sudden, it like stops because of the season and next season's coming back, I find a new show, or I moved on to something else, right? I found a new form of entertainment, and the next season comes around and like, you know what, I'm just not as excited anymore. And you risk that possibility. If you're consistent all the time, you're at least consistent all the time, right? So that's my opinion on that. Pat Flynn, I'm really considering starting a new YouTube channel about helping people realize their value. It will be called More Than Conquerors. What do you think? I need to know more. I need to know more about it because, and I know there's more about it. You only have so much room to put in a comment, but helping people realize their value. I want to unpack that. I want to know exactly what this means for an individual. If you go up to somebody on the street and you go, "Hey, have you realized your value?" They're not even going to know exactly what you're talking about. I know that we all know sort of what you mean, but to people who need this information, they might not even have considered that language. So how would you rephrase that, Thrifty Pickers? Might you say, and there's different ways to frame it, right? I want to help you finally achieve what you are set out to do. I want to help you become somebody who is successful because you're helping others become successful too. So then you become a success coach of some kind, right? There's so many ways to kind of skin that cat. So we need to really dissect that more. I would say, well, what do you mean by realize the value? Whatever your answer is to me, well, what do you mean by that? What does that actually mean and turn into, right? I would also consider maybe a brainstorming exercise in terms of like, what specifics are you helping people achieve? And this might help you niche down. This might help you uncover the language that you might need yourself in order to sort of better portray this to others who, and the reason this is important is because if you can't really nail it on the head, it's going to be hard for people to know that you can help them, even though I know you can. If you can define the problem better than your target customer, they will automatically assume that you have the solution. Quote from Jay Abraham. All right. But I love that you're considering a new YouTube channel, and a YouTube channel is a great place to experiment. You don't have to have every video be perfect. Mr. Beast had, 200 videos before even getting to like 1,000 subscribers. MKBHD, the world's most famous tech reviewer. He has 13 million? I don't even know. Several million subscribers. His first 100 videos were for his first 100 subscribers. I found that out on a podcast episode that I interviewed him on. Anyway, it's a great place to experiment. And so you might not be able to nail it right now, but just keep that in mind and create videos and try to explore, try to connect, see what resonates with you and others too. We need a question count on the screen. We do. I might be able to make that happen. You think I can make it happen on the fly? Let's see if I can do this. Pat Flynn, on the fly, making room. Okay, let's see what happens. What happens if I go here? Boom. Okay. I do not want to use a Sharpie. I literally almost used a Sharpie. Where's my marker? I can't find my Expo marker. And this is what happens when you are disorganized. Okay. So we got, and I can do a screen on screen, right? So if I go here, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do picture in picture, right? Picture in picture. Yes. Sick. Okay. How might we do this? So we're already at 10 questions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sweet. It's not, okay. Sorry, my perfectionism is now, I'm live, so yes, okay. There we go. All right, we got this. Okay. Where's the edge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remind me if I forget to do that, okay? Let's pop it over here. Gotta love the stick chart. Let's go, where should we put it? Upper left-hand corner? All right. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, chat. Let's keep going here. Next question from Sasha. Bam. That felt good. Repost. I want to start a niche site. Oh, we already did that one. Okay, here we go. April. Have you been using the new Clubhouse app? Because of you, I checked it out, and I'm now a huge fan. Really amazing peeps over there, so thank you for the recommendation. You're welcome, April. Yeah, it's super fun. I go in there and listen every once in a while. I haven't participated, if you will, and have gone on stage in a very long time, but it's super fun when you do that, and you can command a room. You can learn and practice how to present things, tell great stories. I love the app and the way that it's built, and the community there, and actually the people who work there are absolutely amazing. They seem to come out with new features every time. Whenever you open the Clubhouse, it's like, here's what's new. And you're just like, oh my gosh, every day there's like new things. It's like Christmas, right? Which is kind of cool. But I highly recommend checking it out. Clubhouse, go nab your username and follow me at Pat Flynn. Let's see. Wow, I can't believe I caught this live today. Well, I'm super thankful that you did, and I'm totally stoked that you're here. All right, question. Does YouTube algorithm treat upload videos different than live process videos? Most of my videos are live. I will now start making short videos, looking for advice and your expertise. 100% I know this because I've talked to people that live videos that then get put in as replays get treated differently. There's a lot of reasons, but I think a lot of it has to do with the kind of video it is. Number one, I think we reviewed your stuff before, right? When we went live, there was like a minute or two in the beginning where people were kind of just waiting. You know, the last thing you want in a video when you go and watch it as a replay is for 2 minutes of the person going, all right, guys, welcome in. All right, let's just wait 5 more minutes for more people to come. Let's just chat. Hey, how was your day? It's like nobody's going to stick around to watch that. So what that means is YouTube is going to see that people are dropping off, and they're then therefore not going to sort of give that impression to other people because your video is not keeping people on. Versus what I try to do here when I go live is like, hey guys, welcome in. Today we're talking about this. Let's get into it. And we just kind of go right into it right from the start, even if there's, you know, I don't know, hardly anybody there. And of course, people who are there late can remind themselves to come in early. And then people who watch the replay, they're getting exactly what they need at the start. So that has helped when I've done that. But it does get treated differently, and I highly recommend experimenting with some pre-recorded videos to pop up that are very specific about a topic, have a great title, have an amazing thumbnail that gets people curious and to click on it. And of course, in the first 10 seconds, really hooks that person in. All right. Thank you for the super sticker, by the way. A white unicorn with rainbow hair. I love how YouTube describes that. Question from Omar, which is better, a video podcast or an audio podcast? Both are great for different reasons. Some people try to do both and combine them. For me, audio podcast is where it's at because you get the really intimate situation with that listener. Think about how we listen to audio podcasts. We are in chat. Let me know, where do you listen to podcasts if you do listen to podcasts? I'm either in the car, I'm doing the dishes, might be on a walk or even a run or on a row. I'm listening to podcasts, right? And that's stuff that I cannot be watching things during those times, especially while driving. Please don't watch videos while you drive. And you are able to now command a lot longer of a person's attention span because they're already doing something else that's sort of mindless, and then their full and undivided attention is really to you during that time. Versus a video where there's distractions, there's other things, plus you have to keep people visually compelled to stick around versus just audio compelled. Where I see a lot of people do this is, and do it well, is they record the video, but then they take clips from it. They just take little moments that are about specific things. They pop them onto YouTube, and they're very searchable. They're very, very finite about that specific piece of information. And then it leads them to the audio podcast after that. And that's kind of how I would recommend at least starting out, because recording a full-length video and keeping it visually compelling the entire time, it can be a lot of work to create those B-rolls, to have different camera angles and stuff. Nobody just wants to watch a face for an hour unless you're crazy and you're a part of the Quaranteam and you happen to be watching Pat Flynn. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you. Cool. Question from John Carl Lewis. We're almost halfway to 30, by the way. Having trouble fitting my goals into Michael Hyatt's 3 goals, quarter, 12 goals year limit. Totally confused about how to grow several things slowly and organically over a longer period. Well, thank you for this question, John Carl. In terms of these goals, you know, part of the exercise is actually narrowing down which goals are most important, right? Prioritization is an important part of this process. I don't know if you've gone through Michael Hyatt's process already, but prioritization is absolutely key. And this allows you to pick 1 or 2 things per quarter that you need to work on and then have a habitual goal that can then support you with that. So if you're having trouble again, I would start over and not start over from scratch, but go back to the beginning and maybe you missed something in terms of how to prioritize and score each of these different things that you might be interested in doing. Because the truth is, if you have 20 goals, that's great, but you cannot do them all at the same time. We need to prioritize, and this is why breaking things down into little chunks like quarters and or months and or weeks is much better than just going, wow, okay, 2021, 21 goals, let's make it happen. And it's just like, you get behind on one and then the next one kind of falls behind too, and it can get very difficult, right? Cool. We are on fire today, people. I love it. Samara says, Pat, I just watched your Audacity YouTube video for my podcast. So helpful. You are absolutely welcome. I'm recording in the basement. Usually good audio unless the salt softener starts going off. We have a salt softener too. So like as soon as the thing goes off, I can like wash my hands with soap and it feels like the soap's still on. It's like so smooth. So smooth. All right. April says, for anyone interested in getting their username secured at Clubhouse, the way that I get in was an invite. I don't know how y'all got in, if they still require invites or if they've opened it up for everybody now. But all right, Germanium Online. 15 questions, done. Or 14 done. On the 15th. I offer a lot of free content, but still get tons of requests for free tutoring. What is your advice for attracting an audience that is willing to pay for my time? Give them a taste of what it's like to work with you, but command the fact that that is not free, that does require some sort of payment, the one-on-one individually, right? So what I would recommend would be something like a one-to-many situation. Oh, you want free tutoring? Cool, thank you so much. You can join me live on Wednesday. I'm gonna be live on YouTube, or I'm gonna be on this webinar, sign up here, and then you get their email address, or I'm gonna be live on Facebook at this time. Make sure to join me because I might be able to answer one or two of your questions there. You'll be there with several other people who are going to be looking for some help as well. We'll be there for 30 minutes, and I hope I can help you out. On that free thing, which is super valuable, people are getting to hear your voice in real time. They're seeing how friendly you are. They are getting a taste of what it might be like to work with you individually. And then when you can't answer every single question they have, when they can't get that direct tutoring, but they're getting a taste of it, they're going to go, you know what? Germanium Online, okay, this is super valuable. How much does it cost? And then you can take them from there, right? It's very difficult to go from free online resource to then paid without getting the sort of in-between. So what I'm giving you is that in-between so that they could see you live, see what it's like. Or you take these tutoring sessions and you put them onto YouTube, and that becomes something that you can go, oh, by the way, if you want to get tutoring just like Johnny did today, you can get access to it here. And this is the deal. But because you're on YouTube, you get this deal. Here's a coupon code, etc. That's the way I would go about it. All right. Hey, Pat Flynn, it's been, okay, let me put my Sharpie away because literally I keep opening it and I'm afraid of, using it for my account here. Sold by Tech. Hey, Pat, it's been a while since I came to your stream. How many hours of sleep per day did you get while working your full-time job? While working my full-time job, I think I got 7 hours of sleep, 6, 5. It really depends. For architects, we have crazy schedules such that if we are sort of a week out from a deadline where we have to get stuff ready for clients, I mean, sometimes literally pulling all-nighters. So it's kind of hard to say, but on average, I would say 6 to 7 hours. When I was starting my online business, 6 hours, 5 hours even, I would definitely sacrifice sleep, and I wish I didn't because sometimes it was definitely a struggle, but we didn't have kids at the time when I first started. My wife was pregnant, and then we had kids, and then boom, I hit the wall. I started to get really unhealthy. I started not sleep at all because of baby and business. And I started to prioritize that stuff eventually. And I started to see the actual results come in quickly from focusing on my health, my sleep, my fitness, and those kinds of things. So now I get 7.5 hours of sleep minimum per day. I typically go to bed around 11, wake up at around 6, get some Miracle Morning in, get ready for the streams in the morning, or get the kids' breakfast ready before school, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what it's like today. All right, let's go on a new row. Question, what can I do to get people to like my content? I let people know that they are able to achieve anything they want to achieve. I just need some help getting the word out. So number one, it can be very difficult to convince a person of something so big as like you can achieve anything you want to, because they have always wanted to know that. But what happens in a person's brain, and you likely know this because this is the topic that you're talking about, is we often look for reasons why that's not true. It's called confirmation bias. If things haven't already happened for us, oftentimes we look and seek for things that actually prove that to be true, thus reinforcing that even more and putting us more into a hole, making it even harder to achieve things. This is why we need people like you to step up and go, no. And you need to like shake them and go, no. But you don't want to shake them because you might go to jail. You don't want to do that. But you need to shake them emotionally and go, you know what? That's not true. Let's take it one day at a time. If you want to change somebody's life, start by changing their day first. I would highly recommend Thrifty Pickers going on a binge focus session of what small wins can I help people with to help them eventually lead to that bigger win, right? Because what you're offering is such a huge win, absolutely life-changing. I'm so excited for you and the conversations you're going to have with people years down the road who are going to be like, yo, Thrifty Pickers, you changed my life. But it all started when you blank. What's that blank? It's not going to be when you told them that they could achieve everything. It was the moment they achieved something small that gave them the confidence to achieve something even bigger, that gave them confidence to achieve something even bigger than that. So start small. Charles Duhigg talks about the power of the small, quick win. I've talked about this in my book, Superfans. Start small to go big. That's my answer. Question from Santashti123. Hi, I got to know about your podcast today. I'm thinking of starting my journey in internet marketing. I'm 18 years old. How do I start? Like, what's the first step? So first thing to know, so your journey in internet marketing, that could be perceived in a couple different ways. If you mean you're going to teach internet marketing to other people, the only way that you would be able to do this, if you have yet to actually experience your own success in internet marketing, would be to take people along the ride with you. It would be more like a journey. Come along the ride with me, similar to what I'm doing in the Pokemon space right now. I'm self-admittedly not a Pokemon expert, but I'm learning new things every day, connecting with people, asking questions, and I'm sharing that information as I go. And I'm assuming that over time, I'll be seen as somewhat of an expert. Not the expert, not a guru, but in my own little niches within this Pokemon space, I'm going to be an expert and I'm going to learn about these things. And what better way to learn than to teach, right? But if you're trying to help people build their own businesses and you haven't built your own business yet, well, then we got to start there. We either have to do the journey blog thing, or you get your own business under your belt first before you get started. Now, if you mean internet marketing by helping other people get started, I would actually read Will It Fly? You can pick up the Audible book or read the book. It'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to start and validate business ideas up front so you're not wasting your time or your money. And the cool thing is you're 18, so you have a lot of time to experiment and have trials and errors. And that's such benefit to you. Now's the time to try things and fail, and then try again and fail, and try something else and fail until you yourself understand what it is that you like and you're interested in and what your superpowers might be, because you might not even know that yet. I didn't even know that stuff till I was like 30, right? So you're so far ahead, and I'm so jealous of you that you're 18 and you're already thinking about this. Your first step would be to read Will It Fly? And then your second step would be to start experimenting to try to help others, because that's what all good businesses do. They help serve other people. Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve others. Cool. Market Slice question, what site would you recommend for getting voiceover work on my narrative-based podcast? So voiceover work, I highly recommend musicradiocreative.com, MRC, run by Mike and Isabella Russell. They are two amazing people who have helped me. They've helped me create some voiceovers for Ask Pat. They've helped me for some other things too. They are not the ones who do my voiceover for Smart Passive Income. That is the OG voiceover guy, the actually same guy who does the voiceover for Internet Business Mastery. He does the Australian voice for social media examining or social media marketing podcast. And he's my guy on SPI who reads the fun facts about me and does the voiceover. His name is John Melly. You can find him at johnmelly, MELLEY.com. But Music Radio Creative, you literally go in and you're like, okay, here's an array of all these voices. Which voice do you want? You can listen to them and you can be like, oh, cool. And then they go and find that person and they read off your thing and then you get exactly what you want, which is really cool. Did I tick one for that one? Let me know if I didn't tick that. I forgot to. I may have forgotten to tick that one. How are we all doing, by the way? Quick energy check as we are 13 minutes away. We're going to get to 30 questions. That's my goal. We're already at 17. We got 13 left. I'm not going to go one per minute. I'm going to go over, but we want to get to 30 questions today. That was my goal. How much is it to grade a Pokemon card graded on PSA? So if you submit more than 20 cards, it's $10 per card. So that's $200 for 20 cards. But typically, if you don't do that, it's going to be $50 per card. And it depends on what level you're at. If you want to get it within a short period of time, $200. Again, if you're grading a very, very high-end card, then it might be worth doing that. But it's backed up. This is a question, by the way. This Pokemon question. I did not tick. Okay. Can we see a replay? Okay, so we got two more questions there. Thank you. Anyway, it's backed up. It's like 6 to 9 months right now, which is why a lot of people are going to grade on CGC or Beckett even, although Beckett I know is backed up as well. It's a difficult situation. I'm about to submit a huge lot of cards to PSA. I'm going to shoot a video about it of what I'm submitting, but it's gonna be like probably almost a year before I get them back, which is kind of insane. But yeah, PokeKobe, deep PSA knowledge. What's up, my man? See, I know what I'm talking about. How did I learn? I watched some of your videos, PokeKobe, and a lot of other videos too. I've read a lot. I'm going deep. I just finished my 3rd video, by the way. Video 2 is already almost done editing. Video 3, I just finished filming. It's about a card. There's only one of its type in all of Pokemon, and 47 in the world of this thing that I had sent to me. You might know what it is, but anyway. Cool. Thank you. Submission video. Okay, let's keep going here. Ryan Turbo Jackson, question: at what point do you form an LLC or something like that, S Corp, C Corp, for your podcast and YouTube channel? I'm more worried about the liability issues more than write-offs. Well, you do get the benefit of the write-offs, obviously, but for liability purposes, I mean, if you want to make sure you have peace of mind, then now's the right time, right? There is also a sense of professionalism that comes when you have an LLC, a company, right? And of course, you have your checking accounts separate, and you don't want to do what's called piercing the corporate veil, which means you have some of your business stuff happen in your personal accounts, some of your personal stuff happening in your business accounts. You want all those things to be separate. And again, if you were to get sued or something like that were to happen, everything's separate, your personal assets are protected. That's kind of a main reason why to do it. I started my LLC in December of 2008, also known as Flindustries. I actually wish I didn't name that, even though it's a really cool name because it's like Industries, but Flindustries. But I'll tell you, more than half the time when people are writing checks to Flindustries, they put Flynn Industries. And I have to like go through this thing every single time. Thankfully, less and less people are using written checks. But anyway, have it be a name that is not terrible. I started in December 2008. That was 3 months after launching it. And I had already started making money. But it was when I was like, wow, okay, this is a serious thing that I'm probably going to do for a while. I want to protect myself. I want to have this be separated and be an asset that is sort of treated differently. It'll have its own EIN, which is an employer identification number, which is sort of like a social security number for your business. It just makes things easier to manage. And psychologically, it's like, yo, I got my own business now. I got an LLC. Let's take this seriously. Hitmonlee. That's what I'm talking about. YouTube is not allowing me to hide inappropriate comments. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes I'm getting an error. That might mean somebody else has already done it. If you're getting an error, but it's okay. If it's like italicized, Kathy, then it means nobody's seeing it except you and I. So we're okay there. Travis, with the deep question here, at what point, or excuse me, is there enough money out there for all of us to achieve our goals? I think the bigger question is money required to achieve your goals? I think that the answer to your question is yeah. I mean, 1,000%. But the more deeper question is, why do your goals relate to money? Why are goals only related to money? They're not, right? I think that we can have goals that we can achieve with everything that we have access to right now. It's just a matter of what happens up here. So the bigger question is, do we as individuals have the will, have the grit, have the perseverance, have the agency to step out of our comfort zone to reach the goals that we have? The other question is, do you know what your goals are? So many times I have conversations with students and I'm like, what is your goal? They're like, I want to be a 7-figure business owner. I want to be a millionaire. I'm like, okay, but how much money do you actually need? What are your goals? I just want to be a 7-figure business owner. Why though? And then we start doing the calculations and they're like, wow, I only need to make $100,000 a year to live comfortably. Building $1 million business is completely different than building a $100,000 business. You've just completely changed your direction based on the goals that you've set for yourself. So it's so important to have these goals in mind, right? Excuse me. Pat, pricing question. How many questions are we in now? 5, 10, 15, 20, 22 questions. We got 8 more questions after this one from Kristen. And I think I saw a question from Greg that everybody wanted me to answer. So I'm going to make sure that I answer that one as well. Pat, pricing question. I'm offering production logistics help for podcasters, but pricing seems to be all over the place. Any advice? Yeah, it is definitely all over the place, that's for sure. Number one, I would list out and have them available just in front of you. Okay, Podcast Press offers this. This company offers this. This agency offers this. Just so you can get an array of what the prices are and what's being offered at each of those prices. This at least gives you what I like to call a market map, or at least a portion of it, because it should also include who's out there that's already earned trust, the people, and also the places where they all exist. This is a part of my market map exercise that I talk about in my book, Will It Fly? But this is just the product portion. You could do a pricing strategy such that you can determine what your cost is, $50 per hour, okay. And you can determine how many hours it might take for you to edit a particular type of episode. And then you can offer a markup on top of that, so that you're actually earning, 20% profit after you pay yourself with every customer that you serve a podcast with. And you can just kind of explore and see what those numbers might turn into. And then you can base your, what is that called? Value-based pricing? No, that's not value-based pricing. There's a specific term. Matt, who's my CFO, knows more about this stuff than I do. But I mean, essentially what I'm talking about is taking your hourly rate, adding on a percentage increase, such that that you have some room for growth in your business and investing in other places, plus you're paying yourself, and that price point is based on and of course, just like how Tesla makes more money the more efficient they become, you then become more efficient when what normally took you 2.5 hours to do now only takes you 2 hours, right? So that you can kind of do it that way. Question from Mr. Joe Miller. What's up, Joe? Good to see you here. I have a long form interview podcast. Long form interview. I thought you're like, I have a long for interview podcast. I actually do. So I'm right there with you, Joe. But I think you meant I have a long form interview podcast. I'm chopping up these episodes and reposting with targeted descriptions. Should these have episode numbers too? Does it matter? You don't necessarily need episode numbers, although for me, and I know for my audience, it's very helpful when I can say, oh, go listen to Dane Maxwell in episode 46. Go listen to Shane and Jocelyn Sams in episode 121. Listen to the triple episode that I have where I interviewed 3 of my podcasting students who are literally starting from scratch in episode 285, right? Or I think 285 is Nathan Barry, 275. Yes, 275 is with Dr. B, Shannon Irvin, and Robin Carey from Disney Travel Secrets. Or listen to episode 51 with Tim Ferriss. If I were to just go, I interviewed Tim Ferriss, you'll have to find it though. It's so much easier if there are episode numbers, right? Does that make sense? Kathy's solo moderating. Kathy, thank you so much. Everybody should go follow Kathy or K-Walk Comedy, who's doing an amazing job, and who is the one who actually said we should insert this little counter here, which I'm super thankful for. So thank you, Kathy. Make sure to go follow her if you can. All right. Oh, with a sound effect? So every time we do a question, we could be like, no? Or what about? Bruh. Okay. Let's see. Boom. Did I answer that other question? Sorry, let me go back to Joe's really quick. I think the way you're doing it's fine. Repurposing and reposting with targeted descriptions. Should these apps have? I prefer episode numbers, in particular. I do. Yes, long form. Okay, the unpopular mom. Question: I've been stuck on the 680s on YouTube for a while. When are you doing your next review? Probably this coming Saturday. So thank you, the unpopular mom. We're talking about website reviews that we do every weekend. We just didn't do them this past weekend because it was just coming off a holiday. But remind me on Saturday, if you happen to come in, we'll review your YouTube channel, and 680s in terms of subscribers. We'll go in there and dig deep for you. All right. There's a sound effect. I was an only child. Not quite related to YouTube, but curious about your thoughts on growing Instagram. Should leverage the existing followers on personal account or come with a clean account for a new series of content? You know, for me personally, again, this is just me. Even if I was building a brand elsewhere, I would want to have my own personal name to it. But that's because I take a personal approach to the work that I do. That being said, I do have a company like SwitchPod that has its own Instagram that is tailored specifically for people who are in that target audience. So I'm sort of taking back my answer as I sneeze. Yo. I'm not even going to try to fit ungulate in today's episode. That's just going to feel very forced. But I did get the other secret worded, so we're good there. I forgot a tick. Oh no, we're at 24. I think we're good. Or is this this is the next one. Thank you. So we got 5 more after Lynette here. So should you leverage existing followers? So if you have yeah, totally. Absolutely. It's something that is a part of you and what you do. If you start a new channel to start clean for a new audience, you should just at least mention, hey, look at what I'm up to. Here's what's going on. If any of you are interested, go follow this new thing here, because we're going to talk about camera equipment and tripods and other things. That's what the SwitchPod account is. We're very close to 10,000 followers on that account, by the way. And I'm 100% sure that both Caleb, my partner, and I, our own personal Instagram accounts have helped the growth of that channel. And yeah, there you go. Thank you for the bless yous. Let's see, Greg. Where was that question from Greg? Looking for questions. Looking for questions. I'm scrolling down. A lot of great chat, which is a good sign. Here's Greg. Hi, Pat. What is the best resource you can recommend to learn how to structure compelling 30-second or 1-minute max videos I can share? So there are a lot of people now focused on these short form videos, right? Even YouTube has YouTube Shorts now. The best resource would be other people doing it, honestly. There are people like Chalene Johnson who do talk very heavily about strategies. I think Brock Johnson as well, B-R-O-C-K. He is the son of Chalene Johnson, and he is actually more outspoken about specific strategies for things like Reels and TikToks and whatnot. However, all that being said, the way that I've learned anything is by watching other people who are a master of that craft. And not copying them, obviously, but getting inspiration, trying to figure out why they're doing certain things and learning from them, and then putting my own style, my own spin, my own twist, and something even better perhaps in place if possible. You know, there is obviously a way to make it visually compelling, in which case maybe it means requiring yourself to learn about editing and learning how to edit in a more vertical format, how to keep it engaging, adding sound effects, right? Those kinds of things make it really interesting sometimes, which can happen in post-edit. But I think the most important thing is to realize that this is still people's time. Even though it's 30 seconds to 60 seconds, it's still people's time that you're asking for. So how can you hook people in? How can you speak directly to them? And how can you help them? That, to me, is research and learning about who your audience is. So despite or without even worrying about where this information is going to go, wherever you put information, wherever you post something, that should be in mind all the time. All the time. All right, question. I received the extra large Stream Deck for Christmas. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. That's 32 buttons. I have that too. What do I need to make sure I add it to my live stream? Easy and awesome. So I don't know if you're using Ecamm, but Ecamm actually directly integrates with Stream Deck, which is really amazing because what happens is you load your Stream Deck software, right? And that allows you to change like what's on the buttons here and stuff. So you can add like GIFs and stuff, or you can have like mind blown, or, you know, you can pick up animated GIFs, go on it too. You can use it to change screens and whatnot. And also put like flyovers and logos and other things like that. I have a lot of fun things that I can just do here. And be sure to subscribe, by the way, and hit that bell notification icon. And if you so happen to enjoy what we're talking about today, hit that like as well. That's super helpful. 100 people in the room. Thank you for coming in today. I appreciate you. But to continue to ask your question, if you happen to be using Ecamm Live, it's great because you can just essentially create all your scenes, upload all your images and all those kinds of things on Ecamm. And then when you're in Stream Deck, you can actually just go, okay, I want this button to be this scene. When I press this button, you just drag it over and, you know, I want this button to play this image. I want this button to play this sound effect. I want this button to go to this scene. And that's how I'm able to just push buttons here and flip from one screen to another super quickly. There's also a lot of tutorials on YouTube that can help you as well. OMG, Pat Flynn, I'm a tutor, so saying this has really helped me. Wow, that's awesome. This is the benefit of being here. Even if you're not asking questions, you can get some you can get some what do they call it? Shrapnel, patnel, value shrapnel. I'm gonna coin that term, value shrapnel. Right? It's kind of like, boom. You just kind of, even though you weren't here for that, you still got it anyway. Value shrapnel. Cool. Pat Flynn, I know you mentioned being health conscious. Can you share what you do if you feel stressed out? Oh, if I feel stressed out, I walk away from whatever it is that I'm doing. I walk away, unless it's my wife. If I'm stressed out and we're in an argument, if I walk away, that's not good. So that aside, if I'm stressed out about work or there's something going on, I take a walk, I distract myself, and then I can kind of take that breath from it and come back even stronger, right? I always come back stronger. If I try to fight through it in that little moment, yes, I have grit, I persevere, I do fight through things. But if I try to fight through something in a moment where I'm just not feeling it right now, it's gonna be very difficult, right? This is the difference between staring at a blank screen for 3 hours and coming up with one paragraph as you're writing, which I've done before, versus staring at it for 15 minutes, taking a break, coming back and writing your next paragraph, struggling again, taking a quick walk, or listening to a podcast episode, coming back, having gotten inspired, and then adding more, right? Value shrapnel. Value shrapnel. That'd be a sick podcast name. Hyperion. Question. If 3 people wanted to start a video podcast together and live in different locations, what would be the best way to do that? The best way to do that would be to either get the easy way, would be to get on a Zoom call and record that Zoom call. Done, right? Just make sure you have decent audio quality, and you can add things that are more interesting to look at in post-edit if you want. That would be an easy way. A way that is similar, but could be a little bit better because it's a little bit more higher quality, would be using something like StreamYard to connect all 3 of you, and just don't stream it. You're just going to record it, but you can actually invite different people in the room, and you have this nice setup, and you can go from one camera to the next on your own will, and also flyovers, little lower thirds, graphics, things like that. StreamYard would be a great solution. I've been on another podcast before, video-wise, invited into a group. There was 3 of us. I think it was 4 of us there, in fact, and they had flyovers and really cool things. And it wasn't streaming. It was just being recorded. So that was pretty cool. Pokey Kobe says, question for chat. Can we get this video to 75 likes in the next 75 seconds? Let's see if we can make that happen. 75 likes in the next 75 seconds. Let's see if we can actually, can I do like a 75-second countdown timer? Let's see. All right. So here we go. we're doing lots of crazy things today. We'll see if we can get to 75 likes within this period of time. But I'm going to continue to answer another question here, because this will be our final question, actually. And it's from Kwok. Venturing into YouTube. My channel is focusing on my experience as a first-year principal. How to niche down to capture audience I want to help. I don't know if education leaders are finding value in YouTube. Well, the number one thing to do would be to ask, right? Ask other leaders. I know you have connections with people in that space, so I definitely think that it's possible. Yeah, I literally looked up 75-second countdown timer, and guess what? We're already there. We're already there, chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Kobe, adding value, dude. See, there's so many ways to add value to people, and it's just incredible. Thank you so much for that. Booyah. Okay, so let's continue and finish off with this question here. Actually, I'm gonna also finish with Ryan. So you get a bonus. I like to over-deliver. So we're gonna go 31 questions today for 31 days in December. Sure, maybe not. That's not real. Why I'm doing this. But anyway, how to niche down and capture audience I want to help. Conversations, just like I talk about in Will It Fly, have conversations with these other educational leaders and go, what do you need the most help with? What is it that you just is painful for you to do? What is the biggest struggle that you have? What's your number one challenge that if you had a magic wand, you could solve right now? And you're going to find some themes. This is what Ryan Levesque talks about in his book, Ask. Literally, the call to action right on the cover of that book, ask. Because the truth is, I don't know the answer. It's obvious you're not sure what the answer is either yet, but you know who knows the answer? Those who you're serving. And they might not know how to best share that answer with you, but through conversation, you can unpack exactly what they might need help with and then go from there. Cool. So yes, then you'll be able to find the bucket or the buckets of people that you can serve and how, and experiment and you know, of course, taking all things into mind. And of course, this year's interesting year just for education in general, but yeah, happy to continue to help you with that, Kathy, because that's so important. All right, am I going to watch Cobra Kai season 3? I haven't watched season 1 yet, which is kind of unfortunate because I heard it was great. All right, Ryan, with the last question, question 32. We got 32 questions today. Oopsies. 32 questions. Thanks, chat. Appreciate you for that. How do I now get rid of this? Okay. 32 questions answered. Awesome. So Ryan, to finish up, Pat, I'm looking at adding Patreon for those who want to support my podcast, but not sure what content I could add that would benefit those members only. Any idea or suggestions? You might be able to do a monthly thing where they can get live with you and answer questions. That's super valuable, and you don't need to come up with anything beforehand. You're just literally answering questions. Number 2, if there happens to be here's the best answer. Find other people who are doing Patreon and see what they're doing, right? And how might you incorporate something similar into the brand that you have, Ryan? I know a lot of people who, for example, are in the stock markets, and here on YouTube, they offer a Patreon such that people can get access to just their stock picks, every week. Hey, every week, I'm going to give you my stock picks. If you're a Patreon member, you get access to those up front, and I'll give you a little bit more info about why. It's just an additional video, and literally, it's super easy. Or it's a PDF file, or it's an email list that they get access to, right? So yeah, there you go. When are you doing the next YouTube review, The Unpopular Mom? That's going to be on Saturday this week. And yeah, there you go. So hey, chat, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you. What a ride. We answered 32 questions in about an hour, and I'm so grateful for all of you. So yeah, let's, I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to more questions, but guess what? We got tomorrow, and we're going to have some fun and answer more. We're going to see if we can break 32. We're going to go with 35 questions tomorrow. Can we get to 35? Well, I'm going to need your help because I'm going to need some questions. So make sure you come on in tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate you. Everybody who's here, Unpopular Mom, Indianet. We got Stephanie, Adam, Melody, Pokey Kobe, Pokey Kinono, Brian, Bill, Greg, Sarah, Lex. Everybody, you're amazing. Grandma Goody. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Saturday, 1 p.m. We'll do 1 p.m. All right, y'all. Cheers. Take care. And as always, Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Thanks for staying up late with me if it's late. Thanks for waking up early with me if it's early. Thanks for being here and spending time with me. I know that there's a lot of other things you can do, and the fact that you're choosing me is awesome. You know, every adventure begins with a choice. Thank you for choosing Team Flynn. Anyway, peace out. Much love.